welcome Aaron.
Hi, my name is Aaron, and today we're going to talk about Gaza ceasefire and the Security Council. Basically, I hope the presentation will be finished within 5 minutes, but today's international news is actually quite big, so maybe we will postpone some time on this international news. And before I start with my presentation, I would like all the Taiwanese people, whether the statement is true or false. So saying that Taiwanese independence, this kind of issue in the United Nations Security Council will never be passed due to the deterrence of the People's Republic of China. So does anyone know the answer? So no worries if you don't know the answer, because we're gonna cover the part and you will know the answer by the end of the presentation. So basically this is my outline. I divide it into 3 parts, introduction, body, and conclusion. So we're gonna briefly talk about the basic background of the United Nations Security Council, and then we're gonna compare General Assembly and the Security Council to make you understand why the Security Council is so important instead of other like international organizations like International Court of Justice or General Assembly, to make you understand the importance of Security Council. And then we're gonna dig into our today's international news, the ceasefire between Israel and Palestine, the resolution in the United Nations Security Council. And the last conclusion, we're gonna talk about our professors, their comments on the Security Council, and my own reflection and Q&A session. So yeah, this is the basic background of United Nations Security Council. Security Council is one of the important organs of the United Nations, and the purpose of it is to maintain the national peace and security. And it is composed of 50 members, with 5 permanent members and 10 non-permanent members. And basically the 5 permanent members, they are the winners from World War II, China. But the China we're referring right now is the People's Republic of China instead of Republic of China. So the 5 permanent members, they are People's Republic of China, the Russian Federation, United States, United Kingdom, and France. And basically the 5 permanent members, they have another privilege we call the veto power. It is a power that allows the permanent members to go against any resolution without any excuse. So with that being said, it is like a monopoly power to go against any resolution the 5 permanent members, they are not in favor of. So let's go back to the statement, whether Taiwanese independence, this kind of issue, this kind of resolution will be passed in Security Council due to the deterrence of the PRC. And you might think, oh, okay, of course the answer is yes, because you just mentioned that the 5 permanent members, they have a power called veto power, and also the PRC is one of the members. So in order to prevent Taiwan from being internationally recognized, the PRC will definitely use the veto power in Security Council, right? But the answer is kind of half true and half false, because we have to dig into the agenda first to understand the question. So basically, before the Security Council, they hold a conference. Before the conference starts, they have to decide what topics they're gonna talk about today. And then after deciding the topics, they're gonna dig into the discussion. They're gonna write a lot of clauses, like preambulatory clauses and operative clauses on the resolution. And if the resolution be passed or not, we'll decide in the voting part. And the voting is basically the majority voting. At least 9 out of 50 members have to agree on the resolution in order to become an agreement. And also the 9 members, there should be no any permanent members to go against it, because veto power we just mentioned before will deter a resolution to be passed. So maybe some of you might think, oh, okay, like China, they will use the veto power to go against this kind of Taiwanese independence issue in here. But actually China can already use the veto power here. Like some delegates will just post some topic about, okay, Taiwanese independence, and the PRC can directly use the veto power here to go against this topic to be discussed. So of course, this kind of issue, this kind of resolution will not be passed, mainly because it will not even have the chance to be discussed, not because China uses the veto power prevent it from being an agreement. And so some people may say, okay, obviously United Nations Security Council is obviously not fair for anyone, but why do we have to care about? I mean, there are also other international organizations like International Court of Justice and General Assembly. Especially General Assembly is one of the organs of the United Nations that is responsible for generating resolution, right? But we have to distinguish the duties of General Assembly and Security Council. So basically, General Assembly is composed of 193 member states, which is the same of United Nations. And every member state, every delegate have 1 equal vote, which is different from the Security Council, because Security Council is composed of 50 member states, and the permanent members, they have the veto power to go against any resolution they are not in favor of. And also the General Assembly have to discuss what topic to be discussed, and then during the discussion, they will to try to list out, all the delegates will organize a block and to talk about the preambulatory clauses and operative clauses. And then in the end, they will to decide whether the resolution be passed or not. And if the countries who sign up for the agreement, there's another word we call signatories. And the signatories are encouraged to follow the resolutions. So it's actually not compulsory. You are just required. You are just encouraged to follow the resolution. But for Security Council, if you are the signatory of the agreement, you are compulsory. You have the compulsory duty to follow the whole resolution and agreement. And actually, Security Council is responsible for the military coercive power. So with that being said, if United Nations would like to go through, if United Nations would like to get into a country to prevent it from being invaded, you have to go to Security Council instead of General Assembly. So that is why Security Council is more important and more superior to General Assembly. So yeah, so they dig into, after you understand the Security Council and the veto power, we dig into our today's international news, the war between Israel and Palestine. So as you all know that before, Israel people had lived in this area before Palestine people moved in. And then after the establishment of the United Nations, the agreement agreed that Israel to go back to land, while Palestine and Israel still have conflicts until now. And then last year, the war erupted because of Hamas bombard the area. And then right now, the United Nations Security Council is kind of focusing on this war because, just like I said, Security Council is responsible for the military coercive power. So the topic should be flow into United Nations Security Council instead of General Assembly. And there is some key event that I abstracted from the news in the Security Council. So basically, in March 23rd, there is a resolution led by the American delegates. This resolution was negative by the Russian Federation and the PRC. And you might think, okay, these two countries are familiar to you because we just mentioned that the Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China are actually the permanent members in the Security Council. So with that being said, the resolution will not be passed. Well, 2 days after, exactly 14 out of 50 members in the Security Council, they in favor of another resolution, which is exactly the same as the resolution led by the United States. But the resolution passed is led by the Russian Federation and the PRC. So the USA is kind of like not satisfied with what the PRC and the Russian Federation have done so far because, I mean, the two resolutions are all about asking Hamas to free the hostage and to asking for international peace and security. So in the end, USA won't abstain, and all the other members in the Security Council, they all agree the resolution to be passed. And of course, the USA cannot negative the resolution because there's one of the permanent members, right? So if the USA abstain, if the USA negative the resolution will not be passed, but USA will be an international criminal for preventing international peace and security to be attacked. So in the end, USA only obtained the resolution instead of like going against it. And so the American delegates linked out Thomas Greenfield saying that, quote, Russia had prioritized politics over progress by using the veto power, adding that both Russian Federation and the People's Republic of China were doing nothing meaningful to advance peace and security. That is what makes the American delegates so mad about what the Russian Federation and PRC has done. And in the end, we're going to talk about our professor's comment and my own reflections. So my international law professor and my international organization professor, Professor Zhang Jiakang, he is Australian. And my international relations professor, Professor Domingo, he grew up in a Spanish-speaking country. They both agree on the UN as some kind of fall short of its original responsibilities. And because, just like I said, the purpose of it is to promote and maintain international peace and security. But this kind of veto power kind of to fall short, to get into some politics competitive power. And for me, I would say after the event, I more cherish and realize the importance of democracy and the importance of the balance of power. Yeah, basically that is the end. And that is the references. Thank you. Questions so far?
I think we maybe take 2 questions or comments. Let's have some brief Q&A. Feel free to speak. Over here. Maybe we can start with the question. Yeah, I think thank you for the mini presentation. I think you did really well in laying out the background information. I just want to know, what is the latest progress with the ceasefire talk or resolution?
So they're still discussing about it. Actually, just yesterday, they'll still discuss like what is the duration of the ceasefire, and is there any like mediator needs to get into the conflicts or not. So they're still discussing about that.
So it means they're still discussing the current resolution.
Yeah, because the war is still going on.
Good. Any others? Questions, comments, thoughts? Anyone? We're here. About any questions, comments, thoughts?
I want to ask what's the resolutions difference?
You mean the two resolutions? So basically, there are no difference. They are all about asking Hamas to free the hostage and asking the ceasefire between Israel and Palestine and asking for maintaining for international peace and security. So there's the reasons why the United States delegates is so kind of mad at it because the resolutions are exactly the same. But like the first one was negative by the Russian Federation and PRC. So that's why the Linda Thomas Greenfield, the United Nations delegate, saying about the Russia and China was kind of using the veto power, take advantage of the veto power to go against the United States.
So you're saying that Russia and PRC, they vetoed this resolution
Yeah, the first
simply because it was proposed by the U.S.
Basically, that is how the American delegates interpreted it.
I see. Good. Any others? Okay. If there are no further questions or comments, then thank you very much.